What is going on, YouTube? I am Germ here, and damn, I cannot believe that best of 5 between RNG and Evil Geniuses. Can't believe that EG was able to pull off the 3-0 against the #1 seed coming out of the Rumble stage, the top LPL team, a team that was just absolutely massive favorites against them. Can't believe Danny was able to pull off yet another crazy pentakill. Can't believe that North America is going to the MSI Finals. Actually, I'm just kidding. I'm recording this video the day before the MSI semifinals, so I actually have no idea what has happened in the series. Hopefully I woke up early. Hopefully I actually got to watch them, and hopefully I now know, as Germ from the future. But hey, I can't talk about MSI. I don't know what's going to happen yet. But what we can talk about today is some big news coming out of Cloud9, or kind of, I don't know if this is news or just an update or a story or exactly what to call it. But no matter what, I think it is very, very good news and a good sign for Cloud9. This is involving their new AD carry that they got last offseason, obviously, C9 Berserker. That's what we're going to be talking about today. So definitely drop a like if you guys do enjoy this video. You got to leave a like for that intro. I had to have tricked somebody out there. Somebody was like, oh, spoiler. Hey, come on. That's a like. Subscribe, save to date, and all my latest content. Hopefully I catch you guys in the next one. Help us run those numbers up. That would be absolutely insane. Dude, I'm so tired. It's been a long week. It's been a crazy couple of weeks. But let's get into the story. And we have this from Cloud9 Berserker. He tweeted out, this was his birthday a couple days ago, May 25th, and so yesterday. And he tweeted out, I'm 19 years old already. I really don't want to go to the army. Now, that in and of itself is like kind of an interesting tweet, kind of like a sad tweet, like a young kid that's like, hey, I don't want to go to the army. Like, hey, I'm a freaking gamer. And I think a lot of us can relate with that. Like, hey, me personally, I'm not trying to go to the army. Like, at some points I was like, oh yeah, maybe that'd be interesting. Maybe it'd be cool. The army does a lot of good things for you. You get in great shape. You get to, learn discipline and respect and all this stuff. And so many people go through it and they come out like better people. And, there's a lot of good things about it, but obviously there are some downsides as well. And of course, when you are potentially making hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars as a esports athlete, that's not really exactly when you're looking to go to the army. And if you're enjoying your time in North America, if you're enjoying your time in Los Angeles, you're getting to play for Cloud9, you're a hyped up prospect, potentially one of the best prospects in the world, especially at the AD carry position. I get it. I'm not sure exactly when they have to serve their mandatory time. I'm not sure if it's at 21 or if it's just sometime in your 20s or how exactly it works. But Berserker is feeling the fact that he is getting older. He is feeling the fact that time, is getting closer and closer. I want to say it's like 23 or 24. I know Khan just happened to him a couple of years ago, and he definitely wasn't like 21 or anything like that. But anyway, point being, a lot of people are taking this as a good sign that Berserker could potentially want to stay on with Cloud9 for the long haul. And this is something that would be absolutely great news because, like I said, Berserker is an absolute blue chip prospect. This guy was brought up with T1, who is already like T1 has such a good kind of branding and such a good name and such a aura around them that all the top prospects and all the top players, this is something that Joe Marsh talked about, something that LS has talked about, something that many other people in the Korean team have talked about. Like, T1 is the organization. Now, there's a couple other good organizations. There's Gen G. There's some other top teams that players may want to actually go to. Obviously, Damwon being another one of those. But if you are a really, really cracked Zoomer, a 15, 16, 17-year-old kid, you're going to be getting, and you're really, really good. You're the best of the best. You're one of those blue chip prospects. You're going to be getting offers from all of those teams. And if T1 comes knocking to your door and offers you, an academy slot, or an amateur slot or somewhere in the T1 Academy, somewhere in the T1 series of teams, you are going to be interested in that because T1 has shown they're able to develop a ton of players. They've shown they're able to, really make you a world-class player. You're going to get a chance to compete for MSI titles. You're going to get a chance to compete for, LCK titles and world championships, or they'll help you get onto another team and you'll be making a ton of money and you'll still, have the best opportunity to make it to the LCK. So even if your dream isn't necessarily to play for T1, it's just to get to the LCK, still starting out with T1 being somewhere in their academy team is absolutely the way to go. And then obviously, Gumayusi is another player who's gone through that whole process of being brought up through the T1 system, eventually overtaking Teddy, and now being one of the better AD carries in the world, being one of the best AD carry prospects in the world, and he's just an absolute beast. And Berserker is the other guy who was right by his side throughout T1 Academy, and they've always been compared. And a lot of people have said that, hey, Berserker would push Gumayusi to his limits in training, in scrims, in practice. And having a player like that on C9 at such a young age, obviously if he's just turning 19, that means he got to C9 when he was 18 years old, and having a chance to bring him up is an insane opportunity. And it's an opportunity that might not come around again, because think about it, like the only reason that this thing even happened in the first place was largely because of LS and his ties to T1, his ties to Joe Marsh, his links to the team, and then him coming over to Cloud9, bringing a couple people with him, trying to bring some Korean players over, and then Joe Marsh also wanting to help C9, wanting to help LS, trying to do them a little bit of a solid, and maybe pushing his player in that direction. Now, again, who knows when that's going to happen again? We don't usually get the best of the best prospects from China and Korea. We usually get guys who are past the prime in their career, guys who are a little bit older, guys who are maybe a little bit more established. But if you're establishing at the top of your game, you're probably, on a top LPL or LCK team. So there's always some reason why you end up in, either the LCS or the LEC. It doesn't necessarily mean that you suck, but, if you do come here and you're just an absolute monster, you dominate or whatever, there's usually at least a reason why. There's something going on there. But again, Berserker had none of those issues, none of those concerns. The only issue and concern was he wasn't proven yet. But with all prospects, you have to take them with a grain of salt, because all prospects can work out or cannot work out or whatever. But a guy like Berserker, he's as close to a sure thing as you can be. And you've seen, even in his very first professional split, he has shown some absolute signs of greatness. There's been some crazy team fights, some plays that you just don't see other LCS AD carries making. Now, yes, I think he has a lot to work on in the lane phase. I think he has a lot to work on throughout his early game and getting his leads and building them up and all that stuff. But even from behind, he's been absolutely popping off in some of these late game team fights, winning like 2v4, 2v5 scenarios and doing some crazy stuff to win Cloud9 some games, or to make some Cloud9 games very, very close, even if they still ended up losing it. So the fact that he potentially is saying, hey, I don't want to go to the Army, that could mean he is looking at staying in Cloud9 for the future. Now, obviously, he's just one split into a process of getting a green card that takes like 3 or 4 years, or however long it takes. But I think this is good. And I have heard, some people inside Cloud9 say some really, really cool things. The fact that it seems like Berserker does like being in North America. It seems like he does like being in Los Angeles. And it also seems like he likes being a part of Cloud9. It seems like he's buying into the systems. I've heard, Cloud9 is one of the teams that, exercises all the time, and they preach, health and wellness and all this stuff. It seems like Berserker really appreciates that. From what I've heard, he's really buying into that as well. He is trying to, be the best Berserker he can possibly be. He's trying to work out. He's trying to eat right. He's trying to do the right things. He's trying to train. He is hungry. He is a guy that wants to practice a ton. He still has that Korean work ethic, obviously being brought up through the Korean systems. He hasn't been NA-ified yet. And, the big kind of stigma or whatever with a lot of international players is that they come over and they're just collecting a check. They come over and they're just retiring. They come over at the end of the career. They come over on the downswing. But Berserker is not that. This is a hungry kid. This is a kid who has not yet made a name for himself. He has not yet made a legacy for himself. This isn't a guy that's already made a world final or already won a world title or already won a bunch of LCK titles coming over. This guy hasn't done anything yet. He has everything to play for. He has everything to lose. And again, if he's liking the United States, if he's liking North America, if he's liking Los Angeles and Cloud9 and everything that's going on, and there is this big, black cloud in the sky of, hey, that military time, that service time. And also, he's probably getting paid a really, really handsome salary with Cloud9 as well. Probably, potentially more than he could be getting in Korea. And who knows, once his contract expires and it's time to renew, what kind of crazy numbers he's going to be able to get. But this is an awesome opportunity for Cloud9. If this guy would be willing to stay, they're able to bring him up to potentially, him becoming one of the best AD carries in the world. And he's willing to eventually get his green card or something like that too, and be a resident AD carry that's potentially one of the best players in the world. That is absolutely insane. And that is great news for Cloud9. So yes, this is just a little kind of insignificant tweet or whatever. But the implications of what this could mean going forward in the future could be just absolutely game-changing for Cloud9. To have, a resident player that is potentially world-class, world caliber could really set them up to shine for years and years into the future. And again, his guy's just turning 19 years old. This is a guy that could be the face of your franchise, the face of your team for the next 5, 6, 7, 8+ years if everything goes right. Like, who knows? Now, obviously, there's going to be some questions about, hey, can Cloud9 even coach somebody up or develop somebody into being one of the best players in the world? Can North America, with North American solo queue and the infrastructure and the LCS and the teams you're going to be playing against and scrimming against and all this stuff, can that facilitate you really becoming one of the best players in the world? Like, we don't really know yet. We haven't seen a guy of this caliber, of this talent, of this level come over to North America at such a young age. So we're also going to find out a lot. We're going to learn a lot about the systems. We're going to learn a lot about the infrastructure, about all these things. And we're going to find out if the North American players really suck, if it's the systems that are really failing them and letting them down, if it's a combination of both. But if Berserker is able to come to North America, stay here for 3, 4, 5 years, and still maintain insane form and be able to compete at the highest levels, that's really going to be a shot to all the other players out there making all these other excuses. But if Berserker comes here and 2 or 3 years from now, he just looks like any other LCS AD carry and he kind of starts sucking, then hey, maybe all the excuses, all the lines, all the things that people have been saying over all these years, maybe they start to have a little bit more merit. I don't know. But either way, this is going to be a very, very interesting story to follow. And I really am hoping that Berserker stays here because so far this past split, he was one of my favorite players to watch. And I can't imagine, like I said, 2, 3 years from now, if he just continues to get better and better split after split, how good this guy can be, especially because it seems like he has all the work ethic, he has all the determination, he has all the natural skill, the natural talent, the natural ability. He just needs the time to kind of get comfortable and start growing into himself and also have Cloud9 put a full, coherent, really, really strong roster around him. This kid has a chance to be special, and I hope he chooses to be special in North America. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate that so much. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Do you think Berserker is going to stay in North America? Do you think he's going to stay on Cloud9? Do you think he's going to be one of the people that gets a green card and becomes a resident? Or do you think he'll eventually end up going, to Europe, Korea, China? I don't know. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe, stay up to date on all my latest content. Hope to catch you guys in the next one. But until then.